The NASCAR season begins on Sunday, and we have two of the top drivers joining us in our Fox 32 studios today. We have Bubba Wallace and Chase Elliott. Thanks for coming into the studio and checking out Chicago for a few hours. The season's starting up this weekend. How are you feeling about going into next season?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's our off season was short, so the good news is we haven't been out of the car that long, and we kind of have an opportunity with the Clash coming up this weekend to get our feet wet before the season really kicks off with the 500 in Daytona. So it's it goes by fast, but also at the same time, by the time February rolls, I think we're all kind of itching and ready to get going.
Bubba, as you go into the Clash, what do you kind of use that time for to get prepped for the season?
Exactly what Chase said. Just get everything flowing again. We have a new crew chief, Charles the Knight, calling the shots for us. So excited for that opportunity. For me, the off season's been somewhat short, but also long, being a new dad. So trying to figure that all out has been really fun. But excited to just get to the track and get back into some norm. Yeah, it's here, whether we're ready for it or not.
We have the Super Bowl here on Fox next weekend, and then it's the Daytona 500, which is essentially your Super Bowl, the most prestigious race in racing. For you, Bubba, not finishing with a win last season, but coming close several times, how important is it for you to get off to a fast start in that?
That's the only goal I have set in mind. It's just win, and win early. We always like to win in the playoffs. So I feel like our team is hungry enough and capable enough, got all the right people in the right spot to go out and compete each and every weekend. It's just a matter of getting that final star lit to capitalize on opportunities. So when you're at the Cup level, those opportunities don't come by much. So when it does, we got to be ready for it, and that's what we're planning to do.
Chase, I know you're kind of making fun of all the media rounds that you have to do leading up to the season. You said, can we just get to racing? You had your one win last season. What's kind of fueling you going into this year? What have you done this offseason to kind of prepare you for that?
Yeah, I think for us, it was nice to get back to victory lane for sure. But really beyond that, just the way we ended our season last year, I thought was really solid. I mean, didn't grab a win in those last few weeks, but we were running plenty good enough to win, which I think is probably more than half the battle, honestly. So, I think for us just to have ourselves in that position and be able to lead some laps in the closing weeks when everybody was at their best, just kind of reassured myself and our whole team that we're very capable and we just got to put all the pieces together at the right time. So it was just, fun to be in the mix, there in those closing weeks and looking forward to building on that. For
a third straight year, you're going to have the Chicago Street Race, which has taken over downtown now. It's been fun over that 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
What have you guys come to appreciate about coming into the city and having NASCAR take it over? Bubba?
I would say just the atmosphere, the vibe is totally different. I said this earlier on an interview. Usually we fly into whatever city it is and then drive to the racetrack. Well, for that weekend, you fly into the city and the racetrack's there, So it's actually really, really fun. You walk to everything. It's a lot of walking. You definitely get your steps in for sure.
Everywhere in the city, there's a lot of walking.
No doubt. It makes me appreciate driving for a living. But just the vibe, the atmosphere, the fans are actually a really good time. They come out and enjoy it. We've done a lot of cool events here, McDonald's backyard. So they've done a lot for our sport and for our team especially. So it's just an all-around good weekend.
Chase, what do you like about it?
I just like the atmosphere, to Bubba's point, is so much different. And I think when you're immersed in it, you're so used to the regular flow of, most of the markets and the racetracks that we go to are an hour outside of a big city. So obviously you have that aspect of it, but just walking out of the hotel room and walking to the pits and then, getting in the car and going to race or practice or whatever is just such a departure from the norm. I think that kind of fuels the fire of just having something different on our schedule and just, from my friends that have come to the races, they're like, man, that's the coolest thing ever, just such a different experience. So I think it's nice to spice that up on our schedule, and it gives us something different, that we don't typically see on a weekly basis.
I think it's also a different experience for those of us who live in the city because it's a football town. Mm-hmm. So for people who aren't familiar with NASCAR, what would you tell them to intrigue them to go check it out?
What you scared of? I don't know. I think just from bringing in something new and exciting, everybody gets hooked on sights and sounds of different things. Well, you got that all in one punch with NASCAR. The sounds are deafening. It's cool to be a part of. And it's just something different. You can bring out, and the street course provides so many different viewpoints, vantage points to watch from. So purchase a ticket, come hang out in the infield, and have a good time.
What's been the response from your Bubba's Block Party that you've hosted the past 2 years?
Those have been really good. The crowd shows up and shows out, and it's a really good time. A couple hours, just introducing a new demographic to our sport. They seem to really latch on, and then it's also cool showing up the next day to the track, and you see a lot of Bubba's Block Party shirts. So I appreciate those fans that follow through and come out. We just got to get more of you to come out and enjoy it.
Chase, you're the best on road courses. What's the difference or similarities between that and then racing on a street course?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've won one, but hopefully we can change that soon. Certainly enjoy road racing. Have always liked it. For whatever reason, I think the street course is different in a lot of ways. I think the most evident way is there's just not a lot of room for error at these tracks, where a lot of the normal road courses that you go to, you can get away with a mistake, or if you're in practice and you want to really find your limit, you typically have some room to run off the track or whatever if you absolutely had to. But here there is no room to run off the track, and you're going to hit something. So it's just it is trying to really maximize those break points, which is a crucial piece of road course racing. Getting as far as you can into the corner, without making a mistake, and pushing those limits can be really difficult. So that was the piece I think that has been most challenging for me. Other guys might, have something different to say, but for me, just finding that balance of, risk versus reward, and obviously throwing the rain into that the last couple of years.
It hasn't been nice to you the past 2 years.
Has added a whole different element, to a track that you already didn't really have a lot of knowledge of, and that made it tough.
Most of the drivers have been using simulators to prepare for all the turns and such. Have you found that to be the best way to prepare? Or are there other methods that you are going to start integrating into that?
That's the only way. There's really no other option. Other than the time that if you are fortunate enough to have already had some track time, that's really all you have. There's really nothing else you can do. So fortunately, the simulators have come a long way. The track scans have gotten all the little bumps and character pieces of the roads here, and that's a huge benefit, especially year one. I think this year you could probably go into it and not do anything if you really had to and be competitive.
My team wouldn't allow that, but yeah.
But the simulator thing in that first year of learning it was huge for me.
Crucial. None of us had ever been on a street course before, and so to Chase's point, simulator is all we got. So we invested hours and hours and hours and a lot of time, just effort, just to figure out what corner comes after what, what bridge is next, and what right-hand turn. Oh, never mind, it's a left-hand turn. So it's a lot.
Bubba, you have some, history working with Michael Jordan with 2311 Racing, and most people know him as that competitor that we watched him with the Bulls in the 90s. What's it been like working with him, and is he that same competitor in the aspect that he's working with you now?
Oh, for sure. He wants to win every race, but I think from a guy of his stature and his standpoint, you would think that he's just throwing money into something and putting his name on something. MJ loves NASCAR. He's been a lifer ever since he was a kid, going to races with his family in Talladega, Darlington, Charlotte, you name it. He would always just go and have a good time and enjoy it. So for him to have the opportunity to be a part of our sport in the way that he is and provide opportunities to not only us drivers but everybody back at Airspeed has been really, really cool to see just how passionate he is about racing. And so I say he wants to win every race, but he knows that's damn near impossible to do. And he understands why and how, and that's awesome to know from a guy from that competitive can jump into this world and still understand the ins and outs of it.
Has he shared any advice with you just about being that ultra competitor?
No, I think he's a guy that looks at everything. The glass is always half full, and there's no excuses really. You make your own luck. Just go out and just compete hard and do the best you can, and that's good.
All right, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, we appreciate you taking the time to come into our studio here in Chicago. Good luck this season. We'll see you early July for the Chicago Street Race.
Sounds good.
Thanks.